Well, on that topic, obviously, as well, the story continues to unfold. By the time this is, the story may be something completely different. But we've seen the Spotify and Joe Rogan back and forth. Originally, they stood by him. They sort of stood for free speech. Everyone was singing the praises of Spotify as this bastion of free speech. Then a couple of days later, some episodes go missing. It's hard to know who to trust anymore, what's right. What do you from what the picture we currently have, where do you stand on this Spotify free speech argument? Do you think that they are holding up free speech, or do you think that they are holding it back?
I'm very disappointed with Spotify, and I don't know what took place on the inside except for this letter that the CEO put out. But that letter indicates that there is a struggle internal to Spotify, and that effectively those who know better are making concessions to those who demand the equivalent of censorship. So I think we have seen the cracks in that edifice, and we should be worried. And I think one of the things that Heather and I say on our podcast somewhat regularly is that 0 is a special number. And what that means is that a world in which you have a platform, even a single one, in which free speech is the standard, is a very different world than one in which you have no platforms in which that's the case. And what we keep seeing is that platforms plug into, even if they are started with the intention, the explicit intention of protecting the free exchange of ideas, they almost inevitably end up plugging into the world of VC capital or going public, and therefore being subject to the will of the market. And by plugging into those forces, effectively the same evolutionary dynamics ensue, and leverage is in the hands of people who I wish there were nicer terms, but who stupidly believe that because at the moment they have the power to censor things they don't want to hear, that censorship is a good idea, not understanding that those tools will eventually be turned on them. So I'm quite concerned. I think the whole episode with Joe and Spotify indicates that we are perilously close to a world in which the forces that want to shout misinformation are in a position to blunt the process through which we get smarter.
Yeah, well, one of the things I was quite shocked by, disappointed, obviously when Joe first came out with his reaction videos, you had all these celebrities showing their support. I mean, The Rock was commenting on the video saying, keep fighting the good fight almost. And then a couple of days later, I think it was maybe one tweet from Don Winslow, The Rock has switched the narrative. And it reminded me of something you said before about how cancel culture works. And it's this army of the dead almost, where, if you're eaten by the army of the dead, you become it. What do you think the motive is on, someone like The Rock who would just switch that narrative so quick over something so minute, and someone whose past isn't so squeaky clean himself?
Well, I didn't track the issue with The Rock, so I can't speak to it specifically. But I can say people are responding to incentives local to their lives. Even very good people are doing this. As much as we would like people to do the right thing globally, it is, none of us can be expected to put the well-being of our families aside entirely in order to do the right thing for the world, for example. So I don't know what the internal motivations were there, but I can say that local calculations are being used to corral us, right? Joe made calculations too. Now, I don't know exactly what they were, but I will say Joe is as decent a human being as I know. And I think that worked against him. I think Joe did things that he shouldn't have done from the point of view of the long-term well-being of everything, because frankly, the pressure of being accused of horrible things is it's a weight that one carries around, even if you know it's not right. But I don't know why The Rock did what he did, but I can say it looks a lot like, as you allude to with the issue of the Army of the Dead. The game theory for the individual causes people to do things that, globally speaking, are terrible. It's a collective action problem in disguise.